I want to do an experiment. I want you listening to this to look around the room, and I want you to count all of the brown objects in the room. You counted, Andrew?
Yeah, I've counted.
Everyone listening? Roughly how many?
Well, I can see a few couches. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Cabinetry. Is that brown? You'd say that's brown?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay, so 5. Yeah, 6, 7.
Okay.
Yes, 7, 8. I reckon.
Okay, cool.
I don't even know
Now-
what you're doing right now, but yeah, okay.
Now, if you were to keep eye contact with me and not looking at anywhere else, could you tell me how many blue things were in the room? The answer's probably no.
No, I live here, but I don't know.
Okay, well, there you go. Now, the reason I said that is because the way we go through life can kind of be extrapolated to that. Because the way we view life, you kind of only see the things that you believe or to be there, I suppose. And I wanted to make this podcast about choosing your reality. Just then, I obviously told you to look for the brown things. But if you're a person and you may have a negative mindset or a bit of a victim mindset, let's say, and you have this mindset, everything you see will kind of relate back to that. And I'm going a bit deep here, but it's almost like it's a choice, because you are, even regardless of what's happened to you, you're choosing to have that mindset and see that in the world. And I'm a big believer in changing that, because I definitely have my days where the negative stands out, but I always try and circle back to the positive. So I wanted to talk about the way we see life and choosing your reality on this podcast.
The main topic there is just mental framing. You can either choose the route of life of looking through the scopes of a happy person, sad person, person who is a victim, an oppressor, whatever it is. At the end of the day, it's your life, and the way you view things is likely going to lead to the way how your emotions will react to certain people, objects, events, occurrences. So this is just a good little thing to speak about, especially for us running a business where a lot of the times things can avalanche bad things all the time.
Snowball effects.
But is it really bad? Or are these just little lessons along the way that we're going to be obtaining and ultimately lead to something good?
How you frame it is important. I think that's a really big thing Andrew and I have learnt this year, is how you frame something can completely change the way it's perceived. Whether that's pricing or a proposition of value in a business, or how you view, I don't know, the world, or just anything in general. It's a big distinction and can change your mindset a lot.
But I don't think there's a bad thing about having negative emotions. You know, what I like to think is that you shouldn't judge yourself based on your emotions, but rather your actions.
Yeah.
So I might think I'm having a really bad day. I wake up late, I don't have the morning routine that I always strive to achieve.
Rough sleep.
Perhaps it's been a long night like last night. And, you've started the day not in the best frame of mind, but it's still up to you to decide how you have the rest of the day. Those actions. Okay, well, even though I'm feeling like shit, I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to go do something that I know I need to do. I'm putting off, but I'm going to go do it anyway. So I guess it's just a stark reminder that just because you feel a bad way, that doesn't mean that you need to take out actions that are bad ways.
Because everybody has emotions, and I think it's perfect, like you said, it's perfectly normal to have bad emotions or negative emotions, but letting them rule your world and only seeing that, it's a very slippery slope. And I think what you consume on a daily basis can really affect that. The people you hang around with, the energy, it's contagious, or the content you consume. Do you watch the news a lot? Like, I never watch the news. Only time it'll ever be on is if my grandparents are over, because they just love to watch. They always have the news on for whatever reason. And I'll see this person's died and this person's been robbed and this Asaya shop has been burnt down. And it's just all these things. And it's just a bunch of negativity.
It's horrible stuff, but how does that impact the way that you feel?
All it is, it's just, it paints a picture. The world is just a terrible place. Oh, this happened again. Oh, you hear about the poor girl. Like, it's just, and yes, I think these people deserve to have their story told. And I think there is a place for that. But there's just rarely anything good on the news. It's just a bunch of negativity. So what my point is, and the whole point of that experiment at the start, which by the way isn't me, I wish I could claim that, but it's Tony Robinson. It's if you have a negative mindset, you'll be looking for that. And if you stub your toe, the negative mindset person will stub their toe and go, "Oh God, of course that happened to me. Where did that come from? Oh, that footpath. Oh, wow. Just, I'm having a day right now, But then someone with a better outlook of life, oh, I know for next time to maybe I was walking wrong, or
at least I have a toe.
I have a toe. I can walk. That's the reframing thing. So it's just a little bit of a nugget I've found recently that significantly changed my perception. And I kind of do things already, but I didn't realize I was until I kind of deeped this whole kind of topic.
We spoke about traditional media, but this is still something that's prevalent in modern media. Modern media being your social media,
Yep.
podcasts, YouTube, everything like that. In its own way, we spoke about it with Kasra from the Deep Ask last week. Kind of the fact that us humans were not supposed to be stimulated by so much content on a day-to-day basis. There can be times, and I'll admit I do it myself, and, we're not perfect. Try to be perfect, but I'm not perfect.
You're pretty close.
Yeah, I'm getting there. We try to sit there, and your brain is trying to process through 30, 40 different reels, YouTube videos at the same time. Traditionally, we're not even supposed to be meeting beyond more than like 10, 20 people in our tribe, if we want to go back biologically. Like the whole idea of getting all this stimulus from thousands and millions of content creators across the globe, and that's just on your phone at your own convenience, distracting you from your true purpose. So why that links back with framing is, I think at times, as we know with making content, typically the things that perform well are the ones that strike emotion. It's going to, tickle a little bit of sadness. It could make you optimistic. It could make you happy. And these real switches in emotions, they're not good for your brain. Like trying to cognitively process 30 different emotions within 5 minutes is ridiculous. There's no wonder why there's so many people that are fatigued and have brain fog.
It's an emotional roller coaster.
Yeah.
And you're right. And unfortunately, we've done the whole, with hooks in videos, because we know emotions kind of do tickle the algorithm and people. It's just what happens. So I guess it's good to be aware of that when you are consuming your content, so you can strategically, train your algorithm to show you things that are at least beneficial to you, things that you care about, because it obviously listens to you and it wants you to be on the app. So, if you like art stuff, or if you like comedy, I don't know, whatever it is, I guess you kind of can strategically do that. Arguably, you should try and steer away from content consumption as much as you can. But like you said, Andrew, modern media, it's pretty difficult to escape that. Let's just be honest. We live on our phones. That's just the day and age we live in. So putting little strategies in place to try and minimize that, like strategically liking certain things or interacting with posts that only kind of resonate with you, is smart. But Andrew, I wanted to ask, do you have any strategies that you utilize to reduce your social media consumption or choose what your algorithm shows you?
I think it's just the better of the two evils. If you're going to be using it, make sure that you're using it to the right way that you should. Kasra last week spoke about, you've got people interviewing on the streets like, name me 3 nations that start with G. Like, you know, all these different things. So it's like, yeah, entertaining. Yeah, there's perhaps some controversy. Oh my God, are they going to find out the third nation? Like, oh my God. But like, I think being very clear with what your expectations are for using social media, like, there's nothing wrong with it keeping it as an outlet, right? But if you're going to be doing that, make sure you have those strict boundaries and expectations for yourself. Things like screen time limits, perhaps it's the type of education that you want to be consuming. Personally, for me, I love, what can I say I love? I love watching podcasts, so seeing a Chris Williamson clip, it could be a Stephen Bartlett clip, it could be a Hormozy, things like that. Or, I mean, as much as we want to sit here and say that we're all perfect, I personally like AFL. I like my soccer. I like seeing these little sports things, right?
Yeah.
So,
And the Kid Leroy.
and the Kid Leroy, you know, drop that album. But, but yeah, I think it's just gaining control. You know, I think so many times I can find myself just getting locked in, and randomly I'll just go on my phone, and out of habit, my mind, I just instantly start typing Instagram. It's like, how is that even possible? Yeah. Like, that's more concerning, the fact that I'm that out of control that, like, my mind subconsciously is just typing Instagram.
Bro, I'm bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go on my phone, I'll check Instagram, swipe off of it, scroll through my apps, and then just automatically, without even processing it, I'll be back on Instagram. And it's like a habit of just going, it's just like, what? Like, I genuinely sometimes, like, slap myself and go like, what am I doing? To try and wake up.
You're already 2 hours deep, and
and then
you've already wasted it.
And then the brain rot's gotten me, and then I feel terrible about myself. Anyway, but
going back to it, I'd probably say as well is, you know, setting the kind of screen time limits, moving it around on your phone. They say the best way to change your addiction is changing the environment, so that, you know, being able to, you know, not keep it in the same places. You can actually remove it from your suggested kind of on the homepage.
Yep.
So kind of move it around. You'd be so surprised that this can even go across all your habits. If you're even doing like little habits that you're not really a fan of, maybe you're having chocolates, ice creams, chips. If you're not going to the gym, if you're doing this, sometimes even just like the tiniest change of environment. If you have the ability, move your bed like into a different position. If you have the chance, you know, put your phone in another room. The tiniest of changes, you'll be surprised, can just flick a switch in your mind, and it, in its own way, is a little reset that you can start making progress on the habits that you really care about.
yeah, because we are very habitual creatures as humans.
So changing that, the way you do your habits, is likely going to onset the ability to change your habits and do things like that.
Andrew, this is something I love to say, but do you know what the definition of insanity is?
Enlighten me.
Insanity is repeating the same behavior and expecting a different outcome.
Oh, so if you're going to be on your phone and try to expect you not to be on your phone, but you're doing the exact same things over and over again, how can you not be on your phone?
No, exactly right. And things like removing the app from your home screen, or sometimes what I like to do, because I try to stay off of it, but if I feel like I'm in a bit of a cycle where I am on Instagram or TikTok more than I would like, I'll just delete it off my phone. And if I need to use it, I'll re-download it. Because that little, perhaps minute worth of going to the App Store and typing in Instagram kind of...
It's a bit of friction.
It's a bit of friction. It gets rid of the convenience of it being a tap away. So it almost eliminates. So it's a little bit of a change of environment or something like, just a little example with that. But yeah, I think we wanted to keep this podcast short, just a little bit of a nugget to kind of explain how you really can choose your own reality if you kind of wake up to what you're consuming and your mindset as an individual.
Yeah, I actually want to end on one last point as well. This is some bonus content for you guys. This week has been probably one of the most stressful weeks for us. We've transitioned from a partnership to a company. Incompetence of particular institutions.
Oh, yeah.
Not going to out the banks and some particular things behind the scenes, but trying to move some things, you know, starting a new bank account, getting all the files over. That's just been a stress. It stopped us from invoicing for quite some time. We haven't been able to get a company card. And this week we've been trying to get on more kind of clients. And not only that, we actually have hired our a new staff member, which is a huge bit of news. 100%.
That is huge. I'm so proud of us for that.
Yeah, but I guess where I'm going with that is like, this has been so stressful. I've probably had 4 hours of sleep for the past 5 days in a row. But what's keeping us going? What's the mental framing that we have within us that keeps us going? What's that for you, Liam?
What keeps me going?
Yeah.
It always goes back to my why. That, above all else, is what keeps me going, which is, like we've spoken about quite frequently, actually, in a lot of our podcasts. I think we circle back to this a lot because it really is that important. And if I was going to say what it is, I guess it would be just the ability to be financially free and provide for a family, and just be able to not stress about financials and take care of the people I love. That's really where it is. A mentor kind of passed down to us, like health, wealth, and wise. Three things.
The three rocks.
The three rocks. So to be healthy, fitness is a huge thing for us, and for me in particular. Well, not me in particular, but I really do stress about health, the gym, trying to get the eating in check. Wealth, obviously we're creating a business and a brand, and we want to scale this to a huge cleaning empire. That's our aspiration. We're going to make it happen. And then wise, moving strategically, very purposefully, always. Just, Andrew and I love stoicism, and we read a lot of books and consume a lot of content around it. And that's something that's quite important to both of us that we love. So,
yeah. Matter of fact, this camera right now is being held upon The 4 Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss.
Tim Ferriss.
Great read.
What a guy. Still holds up pretty well. I mean, some of the, obviously it's a bit of an older book, so there's some links in there that are a bit dated. But for the most part, really great book on freeing up more time and designing a life that works for you, I suppose.
And I think it was very important why I asked you, what keeps you going? And as Liam alluded to, this is just within his own subconscious now, because this is all we speak about is our why. And, it's a perfect reminder that if you ever do feel down in the dumps, always remind yourself of why are you doing the things that you're doing. And if you haven't figured out why, that is the first thing that you need to do.
Yep.
Drop everything. Drop this podcast. You don't even need to listen to us anymore.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Go into a room.
I'm kidding.
No technology. Sit there and get a pen and paper and figure out what is your why.
Yes. Because and make sure your why isn't just a goal, if that makes sense. That kind of sounds a bit contradicting. But when I say that, I mean, if your goal is to make $1 million, that's your why. Sorry. If you make your why, I want to make $1 million, and you get to that why, and you've done all this work to that point, and you get there and you're like, well, I guess now I've got to make $10 million, get to 10 million. 100, it just keeps compounding. Make it important to you and something that you can relate to in those tough times, like Andrew was saying, because it is the differentiator between, I guess, feeling purposeful or not, really.
And importantly, don't make it something that has been derived from external beliefs. It is so easy, as we just spoke about with social media, to see, I want the new Lamborghini. I want this new house. I want the Aston Martin.
That new the new Whoop on
the new Whoop. Hey,
shout out
shouted out.
Shout out to the missus for that. Yeah.
But yeah, really just, I guess, in its own kind of totality, and as weird as it is to say, go in your room, get a pen and paper. Don't even get any desire from social media or anything external. This needs to be completely inherent and internal for you to understand what is going to be your North Star guiding you through the rest of your life.
Andrew, I think that's a great way to end it.
100%.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Make sure you follow us on Instagram at RefreshCast. If you enjoyed the pod, leave us a review. It really helps us know we're doing something right. And if you guys enjoy us yapping on.
Thank you guys. Have a good one.
See you in the next one.